Oh, hello there. Today, we're jumping into the mammoth of a machine, the Posterior chain developer. This is an awesome tool. First off, it's a combination glute ham raise and posterior chain developer with the pendulum here. Amazing tool for the amount of space it takes up. Very, very cool. But besides that, I'm gonna kind of go through how to use it, how to implement it into your training, and some variations. If it's too easy or too hard, we're gonna go deep and to kind of figure that out. All right, so Alex, when you were jumping on your posterior chain developer, if you were lucky enough to have steps here, step up and then get into position, grabbing the handles. Voila, perfect. So if he didn't do that, you will see the walrus flop. Ready? There we go, just like that. No reason to do that. Take a step up, jump into a good position. So when you are in position here, I want you to come on up. If you notice, his hips are hanging off. What I'm gonna want Alex to do is scooch up a little farther. There you go, right there. When you're looking to set up on your posterior chain developer, I know a lot of people always focus in on this machine helping you get vertebral pumping, this and that. I'm not gonna worry about that for right now. What we're gonna be focusing in on the use of this tool as a means of getting hip extension and getting your glutes and your hamstrings fired up while you're maintaining a stable core. So Alex, just hang it. You don't need to wrap your feet in there. Just kind of go up with your legs. When you're first starting off on the machine, the best thing you can do is not put your feet in the strap. So just do a few reps and we'll just show it from the side. If you notice here, Alex is doing a good job of not really allowing that weight of his legs to pull himself underneath. When you're first starting out, I don't want you to flex that spine too much. I want you to focus on a stable core, extending at the hips, getting those glutes and hamstrings to fire. So Alex is doing a great job here. So as you get more and more comfortable with this machine, you can put your feet in the straps if you want to relax for a second. When putting your feet in the straps, if you have an elitefts PCD, you can put one foot in the strap, step up with the other foot, get into a good position, and then put your foot in the sling, right? Instead of wrapping both feet and doing that walrus flop that everybody really does on this machine all the time. So if you're starting out with weight for the first time, focus in on gripping hard with the handles, locking that rib cage on that pelvis, and making sure all the force is going through the glutes and the hamstrings. So you start initiating the swing with a squeeze, good. Right now, with newer athletes or newer people on the PCD, I really like it if they can control the weight. Do not let it yank you underneath. Do not let it kind of control what you're doing. Again, locking it all in and squeeze. You're really trying to get that hip extension. Good, you see how he's shaking a little bit? This is perfect. He's getting into that fully extended position. Do a couple more. Squeeze. And you notice this low back isn't rocking and rolling. He's not rocking that pelvis really, really hard. Nice and stable. Get me one more. Squeeze, perfect, rest. How'd that feel? Good. Hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more difficult. So what you will also see with the posterior chain developer is more of a heavier swinging rep. For most people, most of the time, you don't need to do that. For some people, you can overload the machine. You can really focus in on a ton of weight on the machine. And you can, again, get that vertebral and lumbar spine flexion and extension kind of pumping action that people talk about. Like I said, for most people, I don't necessarily worry about that. The goal for this is to get glutes, hamstrings, and a tight core, stable core to build up your power to be able to squat more, to deadlift more, and just be able to be stronger overall. One of the benefits of this machine in particular is the fact that first off, you can do a really gnarly circuit of glute hams right into reverse hypers. That would be just a miserable thing to do to anybody, and I think it would be awesome. So other than that, when you are going to start adjusting how you do your posterior chain development, I would start with controlling the weight, as always, adding weight slowly, adding reps. I wouldn't necessarily worry about maxing this thing out, right? Remembering the purpose, remembering what you're doing this for. So one variation, if you are newer to the PCD, we talked about not using any weight and just kind of getting the movement down. If you want to progress that, but you're not quite ready to add weight or put your feet in those straps, you can have a training partner add tension to different parts of this movement. First and foremost, Alex, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of tension at the bottom. So I'm gonna tension him up. Good, down. And what this will do, this will help start to add a little bit more resistance. Yep, good, rest. Add a little bit more resistance to the bottom of the movement. Likewise, you can do it from the top as well. So Alex starts at the top. Now I'm tensioning down, he's resisting. Ready? 3, 2, 1, down. Reset. Up. 3, 2, 1, good. One more. 3, 2, 1, good, rest. As you can see, it's a nice mediation between adding weight and not having weight at all. How hard were those? Fairly difficult, but nothing crazy, right? The final non-weighted version that you can do is with one leg at a time. So hop right up. This is really good because a lot of people will have some sort of an imbalance from one side to the other. And you can start to see with each side, really squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Good, get that other side. Oh, straighten that out. Think all the movement from here. There you go, that's better. Down, reach. And just like with the other version with 2 legs, we can start adding tension. So if you go one leg at a time, and I press down, 3, 2, 1, good. One more time, 3, 2, 1, good. As you can see, your creativity is the only thing standing between you and amazing booty gains. But what we're gonna be doing now is we're gonna start incorporating the weight, right? So we went over how to do it basically with weight. Now we're gonna add some variation to make it a little bit more difficult, right? So one of the things that we have a tendency of kind of forgetting is that it's not always the amount of weight that you use. We can increase the intensity of an exercise without adding more weight, therefore without increasing any sort of risk for injury and keeping your fatigue at a moderate level. So what we're gonna do, I want you to feet in the straps. Right now we're just using a couple plates, nothing super heavy, but we're gonna make this amount of weight and the intensity of this exercise at a higher level, right? So we're gonna increase the intensity without adding more weight, which is a great way to get long-term results and reduce the amount of impact and fatigue you have in your body during training sessions. So Alex, what I want you to do, I want you to swing this up, pause at the top. So these are more strict, good, and bring it down. Really focusing on that contraction at the top. Squeeze, all the way up, squeeze. You see how it's starting to want to fight them. If you used a ton of weight, it would not stop. You would have no way of actually stopping this weight. But with a lighter weight, you can control that momentum and control that at the top. So you can get a little swing going. Good, keep going. Just kind of get the momentum going. So now we're just gonna add that pause. Good, see? Pause. Really control it. The point of this is to try to get those glutes to really fire. Good, rest. So that is how you use the pendulum side of the posterior chain developer. If you have any questions on how to use the GHR side, we just so happen to have made a glute ham raise video that you can check out. Links somewhere floating around in space around me. Check that video out. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share this with your friends, with your enemies, whoever it is. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next one.